In this video, we are going to break down several texting behaviors that kill attraction and why they have that effect. You will learn why texting often acts as stress test for confidence, why some women subconsciously read the rhythm of your message as a reflection of your life, why certain texting habits cause emotional investments to appear fast. By the end of this video, you will understand something most men never realize. Women are not just reacting to your texts, they are reacting to the mindset those texts reveals. You are welcome to this channel. Help to inspire one. Emotional gap energy. So, every interaction contains an invisible level of emotional energy. Sometimes both people are equally engaged. Sometimes one person is slightly more interested than the other. Attraction tends to grow when emotional investment increases gradually on both sides. But when one person accelerates that investment a bit too quickly, the dynamic will quickly shift. Texting makes this imbalance extremely visible. Now, I want you to imagine a situation where a woman sends a short message, basically enjoying a date, okay. Then the guy responds with several paragraphs explaining how much he likes her, how special the connection felt, and how excited he is to see her again. You know, the message may be sincere, but the emotional intensity suddenly jumps ahead of where the interaction naturally was. At that moment, the emotional energy gap will widen. You see, when the emotional investment appears too quickly, curiosity will disappear. The interaction becomes emotionally resolved before it has time to develop naturally. Mystery plays a powerful role in attraction. When everything someone feels is revealed immediately, there's nothing left for curiosity to explore. And that's why confident men tend to pace emotional energy rather than releasing it all at once. They allow attraction to build naturally instead of accelerating it through long, heavy messages. 2. Texting is a stress test for confidence. Texting introduces one thing into every interaction that many people struggle with: uncertainty. Messages arrive at unpredictable times. Conversation pause. Responses vary in length. And sometimes the energy changes without explanation. That uncertainty creates a small emotional pressure. And pressure basically reveals how someone thinks. Imagine a simple scenario. You send a message, and the woman replies in an hour instead of 10 minutes later or immediately. And for some guys, that instant delay creates tension. They begin to wonder if they said something wrong or if her interest has generally dropped. Soon, they send another message to restart the conversation, or they clarify something they said earlier. Or maybe they try to fill in the silence with more texting. From the guy's perception, he's simply keeping the conversation alive. From her perspective, something else becomes visible. She begins to see how he behaves when the interaction is no longer fully under his control. A confident man assumes she has a life. He continues with his day. The conversation resumes naturally later, but a man feels pressure to stabilize the conversation, reveals something completely different. What he does is, he reveals that the uncertainty is affecting him emotionally. And that difference matters a lot than men realize. You see, texting is not just communication. It's often a stress test for how comfortable someone is with ambiguity. Women are extremely sensitive to that difference even when they can't explain why. 3. Your texting structure reveals the structure of your life. Another hidden dynamic most men never consider is that women are not only reading your words, they are also reading the rhythm of your attention. Let me explain. Your texting behavior quietly paints a picture of what your life looks like. Now, if you are a guy who responds instantly to every message throughout the entire day, and whenever she messages you, the impression it creates is not necessarily enthusiasm. Sometimes that impression is that, you know, your attention is constantly available to me. Human beings naturally assign value to things that appear limited. When attention feels scarce, it feels meaningful. When it feels unlimited, on the other hand, it becomes ordinary. Texting pattern begins to tell a story. Does this man seem busy with his work, friends, responsibilities, and interests? Or does it appear that his focus throughout the day is this conversation we are having right now? Women rarely analyze this consciously. that they feel the rhythm of your texting can make it appear as though your life has momentum. Or perhaps it can appear the opposite, as though your attention is waiting to be used. Confident men don't try to manufacture mystery or play games. The difference is that their lives naturally contain other priorities. Their communication reflects that. Sometimes they will reply quickly, sometimes later in the day. But the interactions never feel like the entire world is just sitting inside the phone. And that difference subtly creates an increased perceived value for the interview mood conversation. Another texting pattern that quietly drains attraction is turning the conversation into an interview. Many men believe they are doing the right thing by asking lots of questions. They think it shows interest and keeps the conversation going. But when every message is a question, the interaction starts feeling like an interrogation rather than a connection. Think about how interviews feel. One person asks questions, while the other person answers. It's as simple as that, but the conversation becomes so structured and almost predictable. Attraction does not grow in prediction conversations. It grows into emotional ones. Women respond far more strongly to conversations that contain personality, humor, playful observations, and curiosity. So, instead of constantly asking questions, confident communicators mix statements, assumptions, and perspectives into the conversation. So, for example, instead of asking, "Let's say what she likes do on weekends," a man might say something observational. He might say something like, "She seems like the type of person who enjoys quiet weekends, but occasionally does something spontaneous." Now, the conversation will have some form of energy. She will want to respond to that. The difference between an interview and an engaging interaction is emotional movement. When the conversation feels alive rather than structured, attraction has room to grow. 5. Routine texting trap. Another mistake that quietly weakens attraction is routine texting too early. Messages like good morning, good night, and constant daily check-ins can seem thoughtful, but when they appear before a real emotional connection is formed, they often create the wrong dynamic. You see, routine creates predictability, and predictability completely removes anticipation. Anticipation is one of the strongest drivers of attraction. You see, when communication becomes authentic and scheduled, the interaction starts feeling like maintenance rather than discovery. Confident men usually avoid establishing a daily routine too quickly. So, instead, their messages appear when there is actually something interesting to say, or when they are moving the interaction towards seeing each other again. Their communication style feels intentional rather than habitual, and that difference keeps curiosity alive. Most men believe texting creates comfort. They try to be consistent, attentive, and reassuring because they think those qualities build attraction. That you see, attraction in the early stages is rarely driven by comfort. Attraction is given by curiosity, and curiosity is what makes someone want to open the next message. Curiosity is what makes someone think about the interaction later. Curiosity keeps emotional tension alive between two people who are still discovering and learning about each other.